Harrison Price from the historic Wall Center. Our next guest is from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. She played for the Huskies, 6 years with the Whitecaps in the W League, and 101 caps earned for Canada, including a bronze medal at the London Olympics. Now MLS host and analyst on Apple TV. It's our pleasure to welcome Kaylyn Kyle to Harrison Price.
Hey, Kaylyn.
Oh, guys, thanks so much for having me. I always love getting those intros because you kind of forget, like, when you're drowning and being a mom and a wife, that you were actually cool at one point in your life. So I appreciate that. It's great to be back. It's been a few years since seeing you guys. I apologize. I'm in the car right now. I'm on a school run, as you can see, and just getting ready for the weekend. I cannot wait.
Yeah. Gotta say, Kaylyn, we were flabbergasted with this Whitecaps season. You know, we were going into it, we were seeing all the predictions of where people had them on the Western Conference table. And then just from the jump, suddenly it became clear we got a pretty good soccer team here in town. What are your thoughts about this Whitecaps season as they head into this semi against LAFC?
Well, if I could go back to March, I would rip up my preseason prediction. I wouldn't send it in to my boss. But this is the best part about MLS and MLS Season Pass is that anything can happen in Major League Soccer because there's so many unknowns. And you know, I know a lot of people complain about the salary cap, but it's what makes it so exciting week in and week out, because you don't just have those four dominant teams like you see in Italy, like you see in England, like you see in Spain. So it makes it fun. It makes it exciting. And with the Vancouver Whitecaps, I feel like it was always coming, if that makes sense. And, you know, Vanni Sartini was a great coach and he brought a lot of personality. But since Sorenson's come in, he almost added a calmness to the team and a playing style because they had the players. You kind of saw glimpses of it under Vanni Sartini. But now it's like, for me, and I might get crucified for saying this, it's one of the most beautiful styles of play in Major League Soccer. Like, they can build up out of the back. They use their midfield so well. Their individual strikers can take players on 1v1. Their wingers can go 1v1, 2v1. And I genuinely think with what he's done with the players that he's done, because let's be honest, they didn't bring in a lot of new players. Yes, they brought in Thomas Müller that's completely transformed that team to take it, I think, from a great team to a team that can compete for an MLS Cup this year. But the Sebastian Berhalters, he wanted to quit before the Vancouver Whitecaps took a chance on him. That's crazy to me because now I'm watching him midweek with the U.S. men's national team under Mauricio Pochettino, and I know Poch really well, and he's like, these are the type of guys that I need in my team. And that's crazy to think that a year ago, a player was going to quit football because he just didn't think he was good enough. And now, for me, he's got a really good shot at making the U.S. men's national team, which is crazy. Then you have, you know, Brian White, Ryan Gauld, two players in the league that we never kind of gave the credit of like that superstarism because it's in Vancouver. You know what I mean? It's almost like a club kind of forgotten up there in Canada. So it's just really cool to see it come alive. Obviously, I was really lucky to play with the Vancouver Whitecaps, like you guys alluded to, and I know the fan support, and they've shown up through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And now it's a sellout crowd for this conference semifinal against LAFC. It's what the fans deserved, and I'm devastated that I can't be on ground for it.
Oh, that was my next question. Are you bringing the panel up? We need the panel up here at BC Place, Kaylyn.
I wish. We'll have a couple people on ground, some pitch side reporters, and I believe Maurice Sadu and Keith Costigan are on the call for that match. So you guys are in great hands for it. But yeah, I'm devastated. I am devastated. I'm not going to lie.
How about if they win?
As I love Sasha and them, but I'd love to be on
If the Loons win, then it's back at BC Place for the conference final
next week, Kaylyn.
We're making the assumption, of course, the Whitecaps win as well. By the way, they're not direct lineage to the Vancouver Whitecaps W League team, but Vancouver Rise won. So there's women's soccer are champions and perhaps inspiring the Whitecaps here this week. Adding to the crazy season that you nicely summarized there, Kaylyn, they've had injuries to deal with as well, like a litany, like dozens of injuries. It's been absolutely absurd, and they've remained on top. And now there's this weirdness going in after a 3-week break. And as a player, I'd love your insight on this. So you're hitting on all cylinders. Players are dropping out of the lineup. Next guy up mentality. They still keep winning. Now you've got everybody, almost everybody, for Jesper Sorenson. Daniel Rios, maybe not. But everybody else probably available in some way, shape, or form. Do you have any worries about, not chemistry, because we know that in theory, they all play together nicely, but they just haven't in so long. Like, what is that like now to put together these ingredients that haven't been together for weeks, if not months?
The one thing I will say, and it's almost a blessing and a curse, like I understand the frustration with the 3 weeks off. I get it. I 100% get it. But the saving grace, and I'll say this for the Vancouver Whitecaps, is you're able to get your players back fit and healthy with training sessions and kind of more one-on-one instead of almost forcing them to try to play 60 minutes or manage their minutes. Can you come on at 30? Do we need to give you like a little bit of an injection or some Tylenol 3s just to get you through the game? So now they're fit and healthy. Then you have your core of your team that was away with their respected national teams for this international window. So they're going to be fresh. They're going to be flying, and they're all coming off great results with their national teams. But my biggest thing with the Vancouver Whitecaps, and the most impressive thing for me, is that if any manager can do it, because I said Bradley Carnell, well-deserved manager of the year, but I had actually said Sorenson manager of the year because he was able to manage a team with so many significant injuries before Thomas Müller was there in numerous tournaments. The CONCACAF Champions Cup, you're going down to Mexico with half your roster. You're going with, let's just say, your B team. I hate saying that, but a lot of your substitute players. You get a result in Mexico City, then you come back home to Vancouver. The travel to Vancouver is probably one of the most difficult. I would say South Florida and then Vancouver because of where you're having to travel to, but more so Vancouver. It's been really incredible to be able to see as a manager. And obviously my father-in-law coached in the league, so I know how difficult it is with the roster restrictions to get buy-in from everyone as well, right? Because you always got to play your DPs, even if they're not playing good, because then ownership's like, why are you not playing Thomas Müller? And you're like, well, he hasn't been good the last 2 weeks. They're like, well, we're paying him $6 million, $7 million. You know what I mean? So I think he's just done such a good job at getting buy-in from the players from player 1 to player 23. And it's almost that next man up mentality. So if anyone can kind of balance the 3-week break, my money's on the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Well, let me take you back to, I guess it would have been August or July, Kaylyn, when the rumors first started bubbling that Thomas Müller was going to come to MLS and then to the Vancouver Whitecaps. What were your thoughts then about this German international superstar potentially coming up here to Vancouver and joining an already good Whitecaps side?
I'm laughing, and I mean this in the most respectful way. I was like, you guys are crazy. I was like, until I see Fabrizio Romano tweet, here we go, I don't buy it. And again, it's because it's Vancouver, and it's not that people don't realize how beautiful it is there, because it's absolutely one of my most favorite cities in the entire world when it's not raining. You guys, it rains way too much there for my liking. My hair gets killed there. But it's beautiful. The BC place is right situated in downtown. The only downfall, obviously, turf. But BC place in itself is incredible. So when I'm thinking Thomas Müller, the most decorated German football player of all time, he's won absolutely everything. He's choosing to go to Vancouver. He's choosing to go play on turf. And one of his first interviews was like, I actually, the turf, you kind of know where it bounces. Like, you don't take any bad. And I'm like, he turns everything into a positive. And I'm like, you just suit the Vancouver Whitecaps. He reminds me of the Sedin brothers, genuinely, that like bought into the city, buys into the culture, buys into, Canada and its roots. And I'm like, you're exactly what they needed. And fair play to the Vancouver Whitecaps, because, you could have gone out and got anyone, or, tried to go for a U22 or someone from South America, and you went for Thomas Müller. And I don't know how they got him. I'd love to what those conversations were behind the scenes, but fair play to the Vancouver Whitecaps and everyone from bottom to top to get him in, because he's exactly what you guys need.
It's funny that you made that comparison. We had him on the show yesterday. Müller was on our show yesterday, and afterwards I got a text from a reporter who said, we haven't seen buy-in like this since the Sedins. Yeah. And so it's very apropos. Fact, and the fact that it came, all due respect to the Sedins, this is a guy who's 100 times more famous. He can't shop in a single grocery store in the world without being recognized. So you're right. It's pretty incredible. MLS Cup is another thing entirely, though, for this franchise. So many boxes have been ticked, Kaylyn. But MLS Cup dreams have never really been here, and all of a sudden they are here. And this is all due respect to San Diego, who are a great team, but they're an expansion team. Is this MLS Cup? Is this week versus LAFC? Is this MLS Cup? Because if they get past this team, and not that it's clear sailing, no challenges, but does it get technically a little bit easier after LAFC? Because they have excellence technically, and they have an emotional hurdle there for Whitecaps as well.
Yeah, I was having an argument with my 7-year-old son because he honestly knows more about Major League Soccer than I do at time. Like, he knows the tables like this. It's crazy. And we were sitting having breakfast this morning, and he was like, big games this weekend. I'm like, yeah. He's like, who do you think's going to be in Cup? And I was like, genuinely, whoever wins the LAFC, Vancouver, I think they have an amazing opportunity to lift the cup. I genuinely do. And he was like, yeah, but Inter Miami. And I'm like, I think Inter Miami will be in the final. I think they're going to get the job done against Cincinnati in the conference semis and then go on to beat whoever gets through into the other group. But I genuinely could see LAFC or Vancouver lifting the cup. And I think it would be obviously incredible for both. The storylines for both teams, I mean, it's the league's favorite. You got Son, arguably the nicest guy in the world, and then you have Thomas Müller, arguably the most down-to-earth person in the world. It's like, if I'm a GM and I'm looking at successful teams here in Major League Soccer, and I'm looking at what's hit, they're both fantastic in their own right, but they've bought into the American culture. They've bought into the Canadian culture, and they're just down-to-earth people. And that's what you need on an MLS team, because there is so much parity of, your TAM, your GAM, your DPs, and then your middle of the roster, and, your signings just out of MLS Next Pro. You need someone to keep the glue together, and both of those players do it.
We're going to get a little deeper into the stats and the analytics in the show, Kaylyn, about what's coming up here before 52,000 in LAFC and Vancouver. But just broad strokes, it looks like this match could be a lot of fun with a lot of excitement, entertainment, and a lot of goal scoring and chances, huh?
Mm-hmm. It could, and I feel like for LAFC, it's very transitional under Steve Trundolo. It's his last year there. He's already announced that he's leaving the club at the end of the year, so they have everything to play for. Denny Bouanga's come alive with Son. I genuinely think if you look at depth, I think Vancouver have the better team on paper and on the field, genuinely. If they can stop LAFC in transition and not get caught out of the back by getting too many numbers forward, they take this game, and this could potentially be a 2-0 game in favor of the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Any trepidation over Blackman coming back from injury? I mean, great player. He's their central defender right now, but he hasn't played. Jodrick Pupa might come in as well. He hasn't played at all for the Whitecaps. I mean, they're taking a lot of risks there with their center backs against those two players.
For sure, but big players step up in big moments, and this is why you're a professional athlete. There's no excuses, and this arguably is their biggest game of the season if they want to get to the MLS Cup final. If they can take down LAFC, they have the best opportunity to lift the cup. And, with Sorenson behind the scenes with their medical staff, they'll be ready. These players will be ready. You do not want to sit on the bench. Like, if you're healthy and fit to go and your manager doesn't select you for the 11, you're like, what? Like, put me in, coach. So I have no doubt that they'll be ready. I'll have no doubt behind the scenes that they've probably done a few inter-squad games against, I'm not sure who. And again, this is just me thinking as if I'm a manager, just to keep these players fresh. You're not training for 3 weeks. You're going to set some inter-squad games or, something against someone or some team or something. Again, I don't know that for sure, but these players will be ready to go.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Tristan has all the Riz. His Riz will get him through. Most drip in the game, Tristan Blackman.
Good game fit to me.
Yeah. Hey, tell me, does anyone do a studio throw like this guy at the end of a game?
I threw back to you a couple times this year, I think.
Best studio thrower in the game here.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is. He's got a bit about him, and not a lot of people do, so I'll give you credit for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Lastly, Kaylyn, we know you busy yourself with all things football, but for a girl from Saskatoon who went to the U of S, it's a pretty good football week for you as well, huh?
It is, and I always say this. Everyone's always like, are you a Husky supporter? Are you a Saskatchewan Roughrider supporter? And even if I wasn't, I'd still say I was
Right.
because I'm never getting kicked out of Saskatchewan.
That's right.
Talk about fans showing up and showing out. I mean, Saskatchewan doesn't mess about. It doesn't matter if it's minus 40. Those stadiums are freaking packed. They're batshit crazy. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on here.
You
but
are.
They're nuts.
Yeah.
Even the Hilltops won this year,
exactly.
for heaven's sakes.
They're looking for the treble here of Canadian football championships. Lastly,
Crazy.
Kaylyn, you're a Western Canadian girl, former Whitecap, Canadian international. I know you got to stay impartial on that MLS desk, but
I never do. You guys know this. Like, I'm like Vancouver. Everyone knows it.
So they pull
I
out.
throw
so
those
you're
rules
in
out
their
the
corner.
window.
So you're in their corner. We'll be looking for you to cheer them on the MLS desk this weekend. The big Saturday match.
BWP likes him too, though. He's a big.
Yeah, well, you keep those analysts
Yeah.
in line, right?
Yeah.
Okay, like I don't want to hear anything about itty bitty Vancouver, outpost Vancouver, anything like that. We're a giant now in MLS.
No, I love it. Hey guys, I got you. Don't you worry. Me and
All right.
BWP will have your guys' back. Just get us to the cup, so at least we can watch you guys
That's
live
it.
and in person this
We
year.
There we
need
go.
you. We need you
Yes.
here live and on that famous
Yes.
turf at BC Place.
Thanks, Kaylyn.
Always a fantastic conversation, Kaylyn. Thank you so much for this.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.